All right, everyone, thank you. We'll call the meeting of the Whitford Raleigh NAC to order. It is Thursday, February 11th, 2021, and we are starting at 7:01. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Per Oregon meeting laws, this meeting is being recorded and will be broadcast on youtube.com. Introductions and everything. The purpose of the NAC is to promote community involvement between the city and our neighborhood and provide you a forum to find out information that's going on, and also to provide a way of feedback back to the city, a two-way street to which we are basically a conduit. So if you feel so inclined, you can bring something up with us. And if you want to go straight to the city, you are welcome to do that too. But we do provide a forum and a way for some people to make an initial step up. And also, as we're going to see this evening, have several presentations which you may not be able to attend otherwise. That in mind, then, we'll do the introductions as we come up in a little bit. Officer Hougen has been on vacation for a couple of weeks, and so he did not go to the office and get the Zoom update. We sent him a second update. If he shows up and pops in, we will go ahead and default back to the police report. Otherwise, we'll begin next with the THPRD report. And Jaspreet?
Can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
Thank you. Perfect. As Ernie mentioned, my name is Jaspreet. I work in community engagement at THPRD, Tualatin Hills Park and Recreation District. And I also serve as this district's NAC liaison. A quick reopening update. So we're encouraged by the positive news that Washington County is now progressing into the high-risk category starting this Friday, which is tomorrow. And our staff are currently analyzing the state guidance, and we'll announce an update later this week, which is you can expect a public announcement over the weekend with some amenities open to the public very, very soon. And we also have winter registration open. You can go to the website, sign up for classes, as well as summer planning is underway. So we're offering a larger number of summer camp options this year as compared to last. In district, summer registration day is May 1st, Saturday. And then we'll be releasing the summer camp info on our website starting Monday, April 12th. So it's in full swing, and you can expect a full-blown campaign coming up really soon. We'll not be producing a summer activities guide, so that's a big difference. Not compared to 2020, but 2019. We won't have a summer activities guide that typically gets mailed out to households, but I think we'll have another communication tool in addition to what the information on our website. Dog parks, quick update, we're continuing to add chips to some of our dog parks and dog runs for all season weather. We are also undertaking another talking wall coming this month. So we're partnering with NAC, which is Native American Youth and Family Center, and Color Outside the Lines for a second series of talking wall murals, which will be at Greenway Park. And these murals are from Native American artists and will speak to the rich cultural history of our area. And the mural work begins February 21st. Volunteer opportunities, we've got plenty of volunteer opportunities available for community members to sign up for, including work parties, garden cleanups, and so on. You can sign up on our website. We had a few activities planned this weekend as well, but due to the expected snowstorm, or the winter storm, I should say, were canceled. All the events, including, I think we had a couple of other events scheduled for this weekend, which have also been canceled. Free fitness in the park is back. We have free fitness options, which are available for folks throughout the district from mid-January through mid-March. And again, thank you to Washington County for their grant support on this. We also have some drive-in bingo and other community events, all following state health and safety guidelines. Trail use remains high, so we periodically do our trail counts, and they are continuing to attract much larger than normal numbers of visitors, which is great. But we are asking users to please clean up after pets, as well as wear masks, and to keep everyone safe. Our safety services and Park Patrol will be out on the trails this month, checking in with visitors. How's it going? Unity Park, you may know this park as Northwest Youth Athletic Field. This newly developed park will be open to the or has been open since mid-January, and the project was a part of the 2008 bond measure. Community members are now also invited to apply for the budget committee. We have one position available. This position will start immediately upon appointment and will serve until June 30th, 2022. The deadline to submit applications is Friday, Feb 26th. So, and people of all backgrounds and experience levels are encouraged to apply. These positions, again, as you can attest to, they're critical to represent the broad perspectives that our district serves and of all district patrons. Additional details are available on our website, and I can also share if there are any questions. And just to quickly recap, the events that have been canceled due to this weekend weather, we had a community garden work party at Schiffler Memorial Park, which has been canceled. The dog run at again at Schiffler has also been canceled. There was a Love Your Trails event, which was supposed to be happening at Pioneer Park. That's been canceled as well. With these are likely to get rescheduled, but additional details will be made available on the website. And as always, our website is the best place for any updates and the latest information. So you can head to thprd.org for the latest news. With that, I think that's all I had for the NAC. Are there any questions I could help answer? Great, thank you.
No, I think we're good. Thank you, Jaspreet. All right, next up, we'll begin. And then one note, I guess, just for the record, the Beaverton Police Department usually has an officer show up and make a presentation and talk to us about everything. And then TBF&R does as well. During COVID, they are, TBF&R is making their own kind of recap, and that's out on YouTube as well. And I believe that we have been posting links on that. You can find it as well on our website. We don't usually replay that back, as you can watch it at your own leisure. The police department, though, is a little more, is able
I think he may have a bad connection.
Yep.
And my internet's unstable at my end too, so I wasn't sure if it was a problem at my end.
You're sounding okay.
Okay.
Danny. You're okay.
Okay.
You're clear.
So then,
Figure out who else. I mean, Ernie seems to be down. I think Sherry's down. Sherry's gone off.
okay. Yeah, I just got a notice that it's unstable, so I wasn't sure what was happening for you all. Should we?
Well, you have to try to see if you can get Ernie to come back in.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure that's what he's doing.
Yeah. Get him to dial back in, and then Sherry needs to dial back in, but then I think we lost both at Ernie's house. So.
Okay. And I'll be watching in the audience to see if anyone comes through that way. So everyone hold on. Sorry about, this must be the snow. It's so cold out there. It's just freezing the internet space.
Oh, you got everybody now.
Oh, almost.
Tracy, we lost Tracy.
Ernie's looking like he's lost power.
Hello, can you hear us?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you, but it almost looks like you've lost power.
Are you talking to me?
No.
Hi,
Yeah, we
Aaron.
did, and it came back on for a split second and then stayed off, so. Hello?
Oh, so the neighborhood's lost power for many of them in the
Can you
chat.
hear me okay?
I
Yeah.
can hear you.
We still hear you.
Just can't see you very
Okay,
well.
yeah, there's no power at all. I'm hotspotting through my phone right now, so I'll send you a bill on that one. I guess in the meantime, let's go ahead and see what happens here. I may turn off my video for now, but in the meantime, oh, I lost the other, hang on, I gotta go back to my agenda. Okay, so a follow-up to where we continue, basically, Beaverton Police Department does make a invite, and they will come and talk in person, so we'll see if that comes up next month. If you have any questions for them, we'll try and get those answered at that time. Next up is neighborhood review meeting on the northwest corner of Hall Boulevard and Oleson. This is a conditional use permit and a design review for proposed WWSS pressure and flow control facility, and we will then hear, I think, from David and Tualatin Valley Water District. Is that right?
That is correct. Yeah.
David?
Thank you. How are you? How's everybody doing tonight?
Excellent.
Stay safe. See if we get our electricity back. Appreciate everyone having us. We'll work through the agenda here. So we'll take a few minutes. So we were at this NAC, it was over a year ago. I think it was late 2019, presenting on our Metzger Pipeline East. So it's a very large water project, partnership project with Tualatin Valley Water District, City of Beaverton, and City of Hillsboro. So tonight we're going to take a few minutes. We'll update you real briefly on the project, but really the focus for tonight is to perform our neighborhood review meeting as part of our land use development proposal process. So we'll take some time to walk you through that facility as well. So I'll go ahead and share screen. Brendan Robles with me tonight. He's our project manager. So he will walk us through on the facility itself. So I'll go ahead and share here if you can all see that or not. Hopefully that's coming up on your end. Looking good, thank you. Okay, so as you know, backstory on our project, very large water project. By 2026, our goal is to bring that water resource online to the partner agencies. So right now, well underway, got a lot of pipeline in the ground going in, making our way through the project. I won't focus on system-wide as much as just giving you a quick refresher on that Metzger Pipeline East portion. So here you see an overview with the NAC map, just showing the different components for the Metzger Pipeline East. We're happy to partner with City of Beaverton on two ways, and we're going to hear on one of the next agenda items about the road work coming up on Western. So we're able to get our pipeline in alongside their project as a partnership, as a way to reduce some of those community impacts by combining our construction efforts. So that will be one phase of work that'll be coming up, and for most part it'll be very seamless and just look as though it's the roadway work, and then we'll have the pipeline going alongside them. And then also City of Beaverton has a water line they need to put in the area. So we'll be installing their water line as we're doing Metzger Pipeline East. So to get your bearings there, the pressure flow control facility is located down on Hall Boulevard at the corner of Hall and Oleson. And then you see that western area, just to get your bearings there on the northernmost end. So that's really our first phase of work for the Metzger Pipeline East. And we go out to bid on the center portion of this work that goes through your NAC. And for the most part, it's imperative we get ahead of the 217 work. So really the first year of our work is going to be focused everything south of Hall Boulevard. So the soonest you would see the pressure flow control facility work on Hall might be, the soonest around spring of 2022. So just to give you some bearings there. And there's what that Beaverton water line work looks like. Again, a partnership, just a way we could come together to save some costs and help reduce those impacts in our community. So with that, we'll get into this pressure and flow control facility a bit. I'll hand it to Brendan. He'll walk us through some technical details on this project, and we'll be happy to answer any questions. Brendan?
Thanks, David. Good evening, everyone. As David mentioned, I'm Brendan Robles. I'm one of the project managers for the Willamette Water Supply Program and the project manager for this project. As David mentioned, we are, as part of the pipeline project, putting in a pressure and flow control facility. The reason for that is most of the pipe water going through the pipeline, the transmission main, would be at much higher pressures. So as we start to feed into the Metzger area, we need a facility and flow and pressure reducing valves to knock that pressure down so it's more at the domestic pressure level. I'm not sure if you know, but THPRD will be getting off of Portland Water's supply. So there was a need to have this line put in and this facility put in order to continue service to Metzger. One of the nice things about this is that in partnership with Beaverton, THPRD, and TIGARD, there will be a emergency intertie also installed at this facility. So if if TIGARD or Beaverton needed the extra supply, that would be feasible through this facility. In all, the location, it's at John's Incredible Pizza, right there in the corner. David, if you could just kind of, the top right photo, just kind of show where the building is, kind of tucked in there. It's about 16 feet tall, 22 by 24 feet in square footage. One of the key things here for us in finding this spot and working with the property owners is making sure that we have net loss in parking. So far, we're going through the process right now, and it looks like it's feasible. That is our intent, to have zero impact on parking. Also, one of the benefits, we'll be able to work with the city of Beaverton and have additional signage for the retail services in that area. Where we are right now, there was just recently a zone change for that area. And until that happened, we had to wait before we could do our land use approval, and we've started that now. We're looking to submit that in April, May. So as David mentioned, this work will not start till spring of 2022 at the soonest. We won't know exactly when until we get a contractor on board, hopefully in the next couple of months, and they provide us a schedule and we can work through that. And that's David's prompt to say, hurry up, Brendan, keep talking faster. This is a site plan, just showing where the building is located, and there's an underground vault there in the bottom left. The blue lines are the program steel pipe that's coming into the facility. Then up to the right, it's where we tie into the existing piping to serve THPRD customers and also the emergency intertie. David? This is a design drawing showing the elevation of the building. One of the things about the progression of the design is that while we're working through the land use approval, we will be getting more direction and requirements as far as what the building would look like, color, etc. But this is a start for us. It's pretty far along. We just hopefully we'll just have to make some minor tweaks to meet permit conditions. And more renderings. Again, this is not the color. We'll be working with the property managers and local businesses and City of Beaverton to make sure that, you know, the architectural look to the building blends in with the surrounding area so we don't stick out. We are definitely conscious of that. I want to make sure that, you know, we are aesthetically pleasing to the area. And that's really all I had. Does anyone have any questions?
The work when it goes to Shoals and over to Allen, what is that going down the middle of the right of way?
Down Schultz to Allen, it's a mixed bag. We try to stay one side or the other. A lot of our alignment is dictated by what's already in there, how we need to maintain traffic and keep our workers safe. As you all know, that is a very busy road. So each section, you know, from intersection to intersection is very different. For example, in front of TVF&R, Station 53, we had to do something different there to make sure that they have access and they can get out on a call without interruption. So it's not a standard pipe stays in the middle or pipe stays to the side. We had to meander a little bit, and that's what makes things tricky. And in some cases, it'll be night work where there's just way too much traffic volume for us to be working during the day. As we go further, get further into the project, once we get a contractor on board and we get a permit, you know, the contractor essentially submits a permit for traffic control. Once we have all that put together, we'll definitely be in front of you again to talk about what to expect, you know, where the pipe's gonna, how the pipe's gonna be installed, when the pipe's gonna be installed, how traffic is gonna be handled.
All right,
On that,
thank you. I guess one other question though, when they do will they resurface the whole street?
Not necessarily the whole street. Definitely there are requirements where we don't leave, you know, like in travel in wheel lanes. We definitely, you know, would go to as far out as we can. We typically would I guess to the where the lines are, or maybe to curb even. I think Beaverton has like a 3 foot, and Trevis is on, and he can tell me what exactly it is. But no, it's not necessarily the whole street that's going to be repaved. It's where we have dug up and to a point where it's safe and it doesn't unravel with the existing.
All right. Let's see how that turns out there.
And I was just going
All
to
right.
point out our website there on that last slide. So anyone that wants to kind of get a better visual on some of the work, you can go to our website at ourreliablewater.org. And then there's a Metzger Pipeline East page. So you would just go /MPE and that'll take you right to the Metzger Pipeline East page. We have a Google Earth tour of the alignment areas. And then we refresh a lot of that information periodically as well.
Excellent. All right, thank you.
I just saw a question about the projected dates of construction.
Yeah.
I'll just run through that real quick. The pipeline work starts, we're bidding it at the end of the month. So 3 months from then we would start doing our submittals. So it'd be mid-year is when we start our construction on the pipeline south of Hall. And then it's only, as far as the facility goes, not till spring, spring 2022 before we start that work.
All right, excellent. Anything else? All right.
Thank you. We
Next up
appreciate your
is
time.
a presentation on Western and the Trevis. Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate it, gentlemen. We'll look forward
Thanks
to
for your
seeing you
time.
back later on and with some more updates.
Hi, good evening, Denney, Whitford, Raleigh, West, NAC. My name is Stacy Revay, and I work with the city of Beaverton, and also Trevis Smith, who is, well, he's actually to my left, but I'm not sure if he's up, down, sideways, but he can wave to you. Trevis, wave to everyone. Trevis is the project manager and project engineer on the Western Avenue project. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now, and we'll go through the presentation. Lots of exciting things happening near you. Oops. Second here. All right. Rick, can you give me a thumbs up if you can see this? All right, great. You're the second person on my screen that I see, so that's why I probably should move this arrow down so I can see Trevis. That way I can bother him a little bit. No, just kidding. All right, so I'll go ahead and start from the beginning here. So this is the Western Avenue Improvement Project. And as you can see, this will be much of an improvement from what we have there today. Now, this particular section, and we'll kind of get into this a little bit later, but the Western Avenue Improvement Project is from Allen Boulevard up north to Southwest Beaverton Hillsdale Highway. However, the previous picture that you just saw is only for a portion of this segment or a portion of this project. So the picture that you just saw, and we'll go through that again in a second here, on Western Avenue from Allen Boulevard to 5th Street. And then from 5th Street to Southwest Beaverton Hillsdale Highway, there will be an added 5-foot bike lane, 4-foot planter, and 6-foot sidewalk on the east side. If you all remember that Kaiser had a redevelopment, and so there's a 5-foot bike lane that exists on the west side of the road and also a sidewalk. So the project scope, as I mentioned, Western Avenue improvements include from Allen Boulevard to 5th Street, the roadway diet, the roadway that we saw on the very first picture that showed 4 lanes reduced to 3 lanes with adding a separated bicycle and pedestrian facility. And then from 5th Street, rather not 5th Avenue, from 5th Street to BH Highway, we add a 5-foot bicycle lane, a 4-foot planter, and a 6-foot sidewalk on the east side of the roadway. That way it matches the already street improvement on the side of the street where Kaiser is. Intersection improvements at both 5th Street and Western, and also Allen Boulevard and Western. Utility undergrounding, Willamette Water Supply Program. So again, David had mentioned, or David had mentioned that we are coordinating with the Willamette Water Supply. And again, those are really wonderful support system and coordination that we're doing with Willamette Water Supply and TWWD. So City of Beaverton has a 16-inch water line that is also going on simultaneously, but WWSP will be putting that water line in the ground, as well as the 48-inch TWWD transmission pipeline. So again, we're coordinating on 2 different things. We're combining construction efforts, which will be better and easier for the neighborhood. That way we don't have to tear the road up and then tear it up again and then tear it up again, because really there are 3 wonderful things going on. There's the road improvement project, there's the 16-inch water line, and then the 48-inch water line. So all of those things combined together, we have a very coordinated effort going at this time. And Brendan Robles, I know, has done a wonderful job coordinating with Trevis Smith, as well as David and I have been coordinating as well. And then also the fact that the city of Beaverton does own the 16-inch water line, and that the Willamette Water Supply Program is helping us to put that in the ground. So thanks again for that and that coordination. So again, this is if you were standing at Allen Boulevard at the intersection of Allen and Western, if you were standing in that intersection and you were facing north, this is what it looks like today. As you see, there are no bike lanes, there are no sidewalks. There is a path actually over to the western part of the roadway. There's a narrow asphalt pathway that currently exists that's very torn up. And it's also a lot of the tree roots are undergrounding and also kind of trying to break up that asphalt. So it's a pretty bumpy ride. In fact, it's not very enjoyable. I don't prefer that, pathway right now. But as you can see in the lower right-hand corner, you will see the proposed section. So again, that's 3 lanes, one of those being a median center turn lane, and then bike lanes on each side with a planter strip and then a 6-foot sidewalk. So this is very, very in line with our active transportation plan and our city council priorities as far as providing an active and safe multimodal community. Okay, Trevis, I will have you start your wonderful part of your presentation.
Okay. Stacy got all the cool graphics, though. I just get the pictures. So, yeah. So this really, we just want to put a few things in front of you tonight, and one of the primary purposes we're bringing this information to you is to let you know the project construction is coming here soon. So again, just for reference. This is towards the north end of the project. We would be standing north of 5th Street, looking north towards Beaverton Hillsdale Highway from these 3 photos. So the left photo, you can see Kaiser there in the distance. And what you see there is the improvements that we will be implementing on the east side of the road on those 2 pictures on the right. So you can see that we've got that separated sidewalk, we've got the planter strip and that bike lane. And so that's what's going to be implemented on the right side of that project from 5th to the north. If you want to jump to the next slide. So this is we've got 2 more pictures really that just give another perspective on the north end of the project. So this is, again, this is on the east side of Western Ave, just a little ways south of BH Highway, looking towards the south again. And again, just to give a perspective of what the street looks like right now. And then if you skip again to the next picture, this is what it's going to be looking like in the future. So that street section is basically going to be mirrored. So within these just a few graphics in the pictures here, we're showing kind of what the final product is going to be like, but really a lot of the work that is going to happen to get us there is going to be underground. And as we've mentioned several times now, the partnership that we're doing with the Willamette Water Supply Program is a significant aspect of this project. And so we're going to be actually jumping into construction here fairly soon. And it's going to be, most of the first year is going to be really utility related. So we're not going to see these finished improvements until about a year plus from now when we actually start rebuilding the road. If you want to jump to the next slide. This is really kind of the emphasis of what we want to bring to you tonight, because this is where it's going to impact people here soon. So right now, in a couple of weeks, we're actually going to be putting this project out to bid. So late February 24th is the exact date. We're planning on opening bids towards the tail end of March, anticipating the award of the project sometime in early to mid-April, with an anticipated start of construction date in May. Ours is a little bit different in that, a little bit different from the parallel project that the Willamette Water Supply is managing, in that there are some other things that will actually need to happen first. And one of those is undergrounding of the utilities. We need to get some of those private utilities relocated so that they are out of the way for these 2 big pipelines that are going to be coming up the street. It's going to be a long project. So we're one milestone that is not included in there is that we're anticipating that the 2 water lines would be constructed complete sometime during the summer of 2022. But it's not going to be till the following spring, early spring, that we're anticipating that the project would be completed in its entirety. A few other elements that weren't shown on those slides, just trying to guess at questions people may have. There's going to be a signal intersection improvements at Allen as well as 5th Street. We're also going to be, there'll be new street lights that are coming in throughout the project, and there's going to be a ton of beautiful landscaping. So that's something that wasn't shown in that rendering, but there's going to be more than 8,000 shrubs and a few hundred trees planted up and down this corridor. So it's going to look significantly different than it does now. So I think that is what we've got at this point. Again, this is just kind of a heads up from our part to let you know that this project is coming soon. In the same vein that Brendan mentioned, we are also going to be coming before you again to provide traffic updates because there will be some fairly significant impacts to traffic throughout this project. And so we want to keep people informed throughout this process as well as possible. So I guess we can open it up for any questions. And if anybody wants to jot down that information there, you can feel free to contact either Stacy or myself anytime during the next few years with questions.
Thanks, Travis. One question about the timing. There's been some delay by the ice cream facility there. If they finish, and then also there was word of a possible development on the corner, should be, I guess, the southeast corner of 5th and Western. Would those folks complete the frontage work, or would they wait and just not have to do it until everything's completed? It sounds like they're well ahead of, if you're in 2023, they're not going to wait 3 years.
Right, right. And we are actually pursuing the right of way for both of those. Well, actually for the southwest corner, we're pursuing the right of way. I think at the southeast corner, we have most of what we need, but the city will be doing the frontage improvements in front of both of those properties as part of this project.
Thank you.
On the area
Are there
from
other
Allen,
questions? I don't.
yeah, I had one more. On the area from Allen north towards 5th Street, a lot of big trees along there. Are all those, are those screen trees all going to get taken out on both the west and east sides?
That's a great question. A lot of those trees on the west side, gosh, I'm spacing on the name. They're basically not hazard trees. I can't think of the name right off the cuff here, but they're trees that basically won't survive much longer. If you remember about a month ago in the windstorm, several of those actually fell down during the windstorm. Yep. So a majority of those are coming out. We're actually going to be regrading outside of that that proposed street section that was on Stacy's slide that shows the sidewalk jetting out quite a bit further than it is currently. We're going to be regrading a roadside ditch through that area on the west side there that's in front of industrial paper. So the majority of those trees, if not all of those trees, would come out. On the east side there, quite a few of those are coming out, but not all.
Okay, because I know that there's a berm that's there that runs up into that other industrial area on the east side. So that's why I was kind of asking about those trees versus, you know, you've got them in the photo. And then so that both areas then will open up significantly where you'll actually be able to see all the industrial buildings.
Right. There will be trees replanted though on both sides. So they're going to be street trees, basically ones that you see throughout the city. Right. So it's going to look significantly different. It will open it up a bit, but there's still going to be some screening there for the industrial sides.
Okay. And then this is all tied to the rebuilding of the intersection and that turn from Allen going onto Western, right?
Correct. Yeah,
okay.
That's part of this project as well.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Thanks.
Yep.
Okay. Were there any other questions?
Thanks, Rick. Good question. Yeah, it looks like there's one in the Oh, no, that was for something different. All right. No, I think we're good for now. It'll be interesting to see that. I know the Traffic Commission has seen some of the changes in that as well. Rick, do you have a question? Is that all right, just double checking. All right then, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And this was great. And we really appreciate, giving you or letting us, take part of your meeting to talk about this exciting project. So Trevis and I, as Trevis said before, you can contact us and the emails are on the PowerPoint and I can send the PDF to Lanny and then she can send it out to all of you if you'd like. So.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that'd be appreciated. I think a lot of people interested could make it there. There's always questions and follow-up. So if we post that out in the maybe the website, our NAC webpage, that might be good too as a resource. All right, thank you. Next up then is a presentation by Stephen for the long-range facility planning for the Beaverton School District. Stephen, go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to come and speak with you here this evening. I have a brief presentation to provide to you about our ongoing planning project, which is the long-range facilities plan for Beaverton School District. The facilities plan is a state requirement. It has a 10-year lifespan. And we're doing it now because our last plan was done in 2010. And what happens with these long-range facilities plans is they form the basis of a capital bond proposal from whatever school district that does them. And we, the 2010 facilities plan led to and supported the 2014 capital bond, which you may recall as a $680 million bond that was approved by the voters in the district. And you've seen evidence of that project across the city and basically Eastern Washington County in terms of the investments that we've done. The 2014 bond has about another year of funding left, and we have a number of projects that we're still doing. None of the big sexy projects like a new school or anything, but equally important projects. I want to emphasize that our board has not decided on referring a bond to the voters, how much or when or anything like that. This is just an initial step of us reaching out into the community to provide this information. And we want to hear from you what you think is needed or not needed, or whatever thoughts you have about the district and its facilities. So I will click through these slides pretty quick. I can return to them if you wish, but I really do want to be able to get to your questions and comments on that. So here we go. So this slide will show you the facilities, the large facility upgrades that we have done since the year 2000. So these are new facilities or rebuilt facilities. The last bond saw us rebuilding facilities. So we're not looking at acquiring new land. We're looking at modernizing and redeveloping our sites. You can see geographically how they've been spread out across the district, as well as see from an equity lens the communities that we have positively impacted in our district. For the district, you'll see that we're over, we have 62 buildings and over 5.5 million square feet. Imagine in your mind's eye, Big Pink downtown. That is over 8 Big Pinks in terms of size and square footage that we have in our community here. So that's a lot of space to take care of and manage and maintain. We have done a very thorough analysis of all of our facilities. And this slide shows you the age of our facilities. We have an expectation of a lifespan for a facility to be 75 years. And these dark bars indicate the schools that are well past their sell-by date, if you will. Beaverton High School is over 100 years old. I'm pretty sure no one here was born in 1916 or 17, or at least they weren't, in high school at that time. But anyway, that is our oldest building. In your community, Raleigh Hills Elementary School is also a very old building, and we are looking at replacing that building. And I'll get into that in more detail later. On this slide, this provides scores for every facility on the assets within that facility. So the assets are everything from the floor covering to the roof and HVAC on it, and everything in between. We have close to 500,000 data points across the district. And you can see here that the dark bars are in those facilities that is like, wow, there's so much work that needs to be done here. Maybe it might be cheaper to replace the building and modernize it. So you again can see Raleigh Hills is one of our worst performing schools in terms of the assets, that they're really old, they need to be replaced, and there's a lot of them. Beaverton High School is also fairly high, and that's what you would expect for a 105-ish year school. The thing that makes Beaverton High School relatively good is that in 2002, a lot of bond money was put in there to create a new cafeteria building. So a lot of the equipment there is new, as opposed to like Raleigh Hills, where it's not. Seismic condition is also a critical concern for the district. All of our new facilities are in a immediate occupancy category. We build them above state requirement for seismic permitting and structural requirements. You can see in the darker columns all of the facilities that are below and well below our standard in some cases. Beaverton High School is not surprisingly the worst, just because of its age. But if you look at the other schools, age also has a great deal to do with the concerns of the seismic concerns of the facilities. This is our 10-year deferred maintenance list, and this is tied to the facility condition index that I showed you earlier. We have a need within the next 10 years to do $610 million worth of maintenance if we wanted to, improve the buildings to a point where we are satisfied with them. 610 is not realistic, but if we were to replace a Raleigh Hills elementary school, that $600 million would be reduced quite a bit, because we are, putting all new in that. And this gives us an indicator of just how much the need is and where that need is by each building that we own. This slide just shows you where the investments were made from the 2014 bond. In your community, you have Whitford, and you can see that was about $8.5 million out there. There was a roof and some seismic work, as well as other things that occurred out there. Raleigh Hills was going to get a lot of money, but we pulled back on it because we're thinking this school really needs to be replaced. So we're saving money that was approved in this bond, the 2014 bond, to put into a replacement at a future date. McKay, Montclair, those are also, you can see here, they also received some investment, but those were mainly in terms of technology improvements, whether that's new wireless, new phones, badge access for security purposes, things like that. So our key takeaways here is we've got 2 buildings that we really do need to replace, as well as have a number of schools, 10 facilities that are in our worst category seismically that need attention. And of course, we've got that large deferred maintenance tab that's out there. You can see from our capacity here that we do have capacity as a district for all of our students in the district. We just don't necessarily have the capacity where the demand is. And this is particularly true with the elementary schools. However, in your community, I'll just call generally east of 217, there is plenty of capacity. We're not seeing the type of growth that we see elsewhere. We'll continue to see the infill development of, kind of the 3 to 4 lot infills that will happen between the city and the county in your community. And they just don't refill with young people, mainly because of price point, but they don't generate the same number of students as they have in years past. So we're in our planning effort, we're looking at 2 different plan options that would, when I say plan options, they're really kind of bond options in terms of how do we fund the improvements that we know we need in the district. The first option is the traditional option that the district has always done, which is say to the voters, we would like for you to support and approve a renewal of a bond that is expiring. So the result is no increase in taxes that you might, that there's no increase in taxes. So if you're paying, $2.60 per thousand on, from the school district, you would continue to do that. It just wouldn't drop with the expiring bond. That would generate about $325 million. And the second option is to ask voters, okay, renew the expiring bond, but also add a 25 cents per $1,000 of assessed property value. So this is a tax increase. And we would get approximately, we'd realize approximately $725 million. And this next slide explains how, we propose this funding to be utilized. Again, this is just for discussion purposes. This is not a plan proposal yet. This is something that we want to get feedback on. You can see here in your community, the Raleigh Hills elementary school replacement is in both proposals. The other big one in the in plan option 2, the $725 million option is replacing Beaverton High School. It is, as I mentioned, 105 years old. It has a lot of need that has to be fixed in there, but it's not a complete scrape the site and start over. We have a brand new cafeteria over there that we wouldn't take down. This is really focused on the existing building on the south side of the cafeteria. You can also see that we've proposed to do a lot more, put a lot more money in seismic upgrades, security upgrades, and school modernization, as well as a number of other things, which you can. I don't want to do my favorite thing and read the slide back to you, but we will. I'm more than happy to share this with you after the meeting. Anyway, I believe that's the end. Yes, that's the end of my presentation. I am more than happy to discuss any of this with you, and I can pop it back up on the screen as we go along. And at this point, I'm open for questions, comments, anything that you might have for me.
Thank you, Stephen. Rick?
Yeah, question, Stephen. So in the city, in Portland Public Schools, as they were changing all the schools and doing rebuilds, they moved the kids to a separate site. What would Beaverton do with the Beaverton High School kids if he had to do a full rebuild?
So with Beaverton High School, it would more than likely be an occupied construction
Okay.
type of scenario.
Okay.
So just like you saw at Kaiser and what they did, just in a bigger version. So that grass field on the Farmington frontage,
Mhm.
that's probably where you would see the building, and it would be probably a 4-story building.
Okay. So something similar to what they're doing with Lincoln essentially is
Essentially,
repositioning and dropping the building over there and then move everybody over and then drop the other site. I got it.
exactly.
I got
It
it.
is,
Okay.
it is, you know, I wish we had a swing school, but having Timberland was really convenient, but we're not going to be able to do that this time.
Got it. Then the next question was Raleigh Hills. So would the Raleigh Hills be a modification or would that be just like you've just done with VOS, level and rebuild?
Level and rebuild. That building, there is a very interesting graphic in our seismic study that was done, and you can see how the additions have been happening to it over the past 90 years.
Right.
And so each one of them, you know, while it's tied in to the building, they're all really kind of separate and, you know, at least structurally speaking.
Right.
And so it is, I don't know if you've been in the building, but it's almost a rabbit warren of
Yeah.
ramps and slopes and all the rest of
Yep.
it. So what we want to do is scrape that site and build a new facility. We won't be able to use the prototype that we did at all the other ones because the site isn't exactly right for it. It's also, as you know, an extremely tough site jurisdictionally. I mean, there's so many issues with it. You know, you've got Shoals Ferry Road, which is a county arterial, so they're going to dictate certain things, but it's in the city of Beaverton. Plus, you've got CWS on it, and it's going to be complicated.
Yeah, it's a very tight site. I mean, you're
Yeah.
just surrounded by residential, surrounded by commercial, surrounded by multifamily with not a lot of space to go.
For all of our school sites east of 217, it's the biggest and most spacious property, if you can believe it.
Wow. Okay, thanks. That's all I needed.
Great.
And it looks like we have a question in the audience, so I'll unmute them.
Go ahead.
Couple of
there.
questions and
Ryan, I'm not hearing you, and I can't believe you're here again. This has got to be like the 4th time for you, so thank you for sticking through.
can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say awesome about Beaverton High School, definitely needs it. Great plan. I wanted to ask 2 questions. One was and the keeping the same rate of taxes seems to be keeping or yielding about half as much money as the last bond. Is 8-year or I guess 7 year really that much depreciated in the taxes and how much we get out of a bond? Seems kind of strange because the last bond was like 6 million and then you're showing 8 or something like that, or 6 million, showing 3.8.
So Ryan, you've broken up quite a bit during that, and I'm going to try and answer what I think you said. We got probably about every, you know, 3rd word, so I'm going to bear with me here. The reason why the rate, the revenue rate is so much lower with the renewal is purely a reflection of the of 2 things. One, the amount of the bond that is retiring. So what is retiring now compared to what was retiring back in 2014 is very much smaller than what we had in 2014. So first off, it's going to be a much lower ask that we can request. Secondly, and working in our favor is the increased number of properties that have been in development since 2014, and the base taxes have increased. If we were looking, if we were doing straight comparison of 2014 to 2014 in terms of these bonds here, well, actually, it's not even 2014. If we look back to when the bond was actually approved, we would only generate maybe $100 million. So it's really a reflection of the increase in overall value in the district. And I hope that answers your question.
It does. Thank you. I had one other question, if you guys can still hear me.
Yeah.
So I attended the long-range planning meeting, and I noticed that there's the PE initiative due to the new Oregon law, that new a few years old law, to increase activity. Just wondering if all of that was PE and sports facilities, or if things like active facilities like dance or things like that that also provide active activity that is also supported by that law is considered under the bond or the proposed long range.
Yes, and we have identified a couple of facilities where we need to expand the PE. The most glaring is up at Stoller Middle School, where we need to put in another gym up there. So the educational programming component of the bond and of the long range plan identifies those facility needs to build towards meeting those requirements from the state.
Okay, and then one last question, if I may. The deferred maintenance, does that include specialized facilities, such as like theaters, I'm sure the sports facilities will be covered under the PE portion or whatever, but I know that the last bond, we did a bunch of safety upgrades, replaced lighting systems were in dark facilities, fall protection, things like that, kind of basic stuff throughout the district for the high schools. But as far as like the art support, there's things like at Sunset High School where they don't have any sound system, or at Aloha where they don't have any sound system, that you can really speak of. Is there any, is that a part of the deferred maintenance to repair those systems that have deteriorated since they were built? And restore them to current capacity for STEM learning or STEAM learning?
Yes and no. So for example, a lot of the sound systems will be part of the deferred maintenance. But in terms of other educational improvements, whether that be creating dance spaces or performance spaces or music rooms or things like that, that will come out of a different bucket within the bond. I mean, it's all part of the bond. It's just, from what pot will we pull it, whether that's, modernization, whether that's maintenance, or whether that's educational programming.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Stephen. Appreciate all
I guess
that.
I just wasn't clear what
So-
was a part of it. What other kind of learning, like when I attended the long range planning, it wasn't clear what other learning was supported or learning programs were supported outside of PE, deferred maintenance, and the school rebuilds, which I absolutely 100% agree that those schools need to be rebuilt. So
Yeah. Thank you.
Excellent. All right. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate that, Stephen. So we're right on time here. We need to get moving in order to finish up on time. So appreciate your input, Ryan. Thank you for your questions. Next up, then, city updates,
So,
Lanny.
so Ernie, can I just say one thing before I go here? I have just put a link in the chat to our long-range planning page. On that page are 2 videos I would encourage you to watch. They're short, and a survey, linked to those videos. We'd really appreciate it if you would take the, maybe 10 minutes to do all that, and because we really do want to hear from you. So thanks again very much. And if I ever need to come and speak with you again, or you want to hear about anything we're doing, please, all you got to do is tell Lanny, and she knows where I live, so she can make me come and do it. So thanks very much.
Sounds good. Appreciate it. Thanks, Stephen.
Well, great. Hi, everyone.
All right.
I'm Lanny in the Neighborhood and Public Involvement Program, and I just have a few city updates to share with you, and also can answer any questions you might have at the end. So we do have the city manager recruitment underway. The search process has just now begun, which, as you'll recall, this follows the interim city manager appointment process from last year. And we're using an external search firm to help with this. And we're also going to be using engagement and opportunities for feedback. And so some initial plans do call for a competitive process that will kick off in March. And a decision by City Council is expected to be announced in early summer. And so what's your role in this? You might ask. It's that we'd love to have your community's help in helping us identify the ideal characteristics that would complement the work that we're doing with this and help shape this process. So I'll put in the chat the website that's going to have information updated as this process goes along. And if you have more questions on that, I'm also happy to send you more details along the way. The other area that, if you have more questions about, we've obviously had the charter change to the city manager form of government. And so I'll also include the link on that keeps updates for the new city charter that did become operational January 1st. And it really goes over all the different changes that we've been seeing implemented this year with the city structure to the council manager form of government. And then the second area that we've had some movement in and some recent updates is the Equity and Public Safety update. And this past year, we've had the Human Rights Advisory Commission, which is also known as HRAC. They have been doing joint sessions with the Beaverton Police Department, and they've called them inquiry sessions that have been going on last year. And they wrapped up their last session last month. And they did go to City Council and shared their final recommendations at the January 26th council meeting. And they discussed the different topics that were included in those recommendations, which included police funding, transparency, policy changes, community connection, and the school resource officer program. There is a recording a recording of this meeting is available on the council agenda website. And there's also the HRAC videos of the different monthly meetings where they talked about these individual topics. Those are all also on HRAC's boards and commissions webpage. And you can also stay up to date on Beaverton's ongoing equity efforts and the work of the community at our beavertonoregon.gov Be Heard. And I'll also include that in the chat as well. And then on some financial news, some good news is that the city did receive an $81 million water infrastructure finance and innovation loan from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency to help with the water systems projects, which is going to save Beaverton an estimated $31 million. This loan will help finance a series of projects that will enhance the reliability and resilience of our water system and also help with the needs of the growing area. And it's also going to include new water connections, seismically resilient drinking water storage. And it's also just the project construction and operation alone are expected to create more than 100 jobs. And then lastly, on the library news front, the Washington County Cooperative Library Services, and it goes by the acronym WCCLS, they're no longer going to charge any longer for overdue materials. And all existing overdue fines have been removed from patron accounts. And the reasoning behind this policy change is that the mission of WCCLS is to serve all residents of Washington County equally, affordably, and with easy access. And they've looked at some studies that have shown that overdue fines most severely impact communities of color and our folks with lower incomes, and don't significantly promote the timely return of library materials. And so those are our main updates from the city. And are there any questions from this group or from the audience? All right, well, I'll put, there were quite a few websites that had more information. I'll put that in the chat. So thanks, everyone.
Okay, good deal. And we are pretty close to being on time. So next up is board business. Rick, we got a BCCI report?
Yeah, three things really quickly. One, we have an election coming up in May because Lacey was elected as mayor. Therefore, her position is now open. City Council decided not to assign somebody to it in the short term. So there will be an election. And I think the city already put out a notice that said, I think it's March 18th, that you got to have, if you decide you want to run, that you got to have your applications in or enrollment forms to get that done. So there's number one. We're going to get another city councilor. Number two, a lot of big focus on what's called House Bill 2001 and the Housing Options Project and all the rezoning that's going to occur in the city. I think we'll probably get approached somewhere in the next 2 months to 3 months by the city to probably hear about what the rules are that the city of Beaverton are going to go by, because the area of Eastern Beaverton, the DWRW NAC, is pretty much is ground zero for changes that could be coming in rezoning. So that's that one. Third piece that I want to kind of throw out in front of all of you is, I believe it was the Highland NAC about 6 months ago, decided to do a shred event. They worked it with the city, and the city helped do sending out all the notifications to people to let them know. Found a location, and work was apparently pretty successful. Couple of boxes each, per person per car, and they were able to do it socially distanced, where people could then walk over, put it in, and then watch them take the bin and stick it in and get it shredded. So if that was something that we wanted to do, we would need to work it out with Lanny in the city and find a location. I was thinking we might be able to think about some of the more open spaces that we have today. Gee, maybe the new Trader Joe's guys might want us to do it over at Garden Home as a promotion, or potentially I could contact Jesuit and ask Jesuit and see if Jesuit would let us do it in their parking lot. So just some thoughts.
Excellent. Thank you, Rick. Okay. Anything up? Okay, I just got some power back on, so I'm all over the place. You can still hear me. Lost my, hang on, I lost my agenda. I think the next one was Sherry. Where did it go here? Yeah.
Yes, for the treasurer report. Nothing too exciting. I think there was. Oh. So 76 cents.
Nope, we lost Sherry again.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. Your picture's gone frozen, but yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
Okay, yeah, it was just nothing significant to report. 76 cents added to our account.
Woohoo, yay.
Yeah.
I think Ernie's trying to get back. He's trying to get back lit again. So,
Thank you.
oh, there he is.
And next, what's that?
I'm not hearing what Ernie was
Oh,
saying.
hang on, there's one in the chat here. Somebody's. Oh yeah, power's back. Can you hear me now? How about
Yes.
hello? Hello? Okay,
Yeah,
sorry,
you're
I think
there. You're
the
good.
power came back on. I think it's fighting to, I think the laptop's fighting to pick up the router instead of the hotspot. So we'll see what's happening. Just the last few things is the approval of the meeting minutes.
Oh, approval. I move to approve.
The last time we met. And Lanny, the agenda set up on time. So sorry, who?
I can move to approve the minutes as written.
Excellent.
second.
And there's a second. Very
Me.
good by Rick. So all those in favor? Oh, I guess we have to do. Aye. Sherry.
I'm a yes.
Sherry. Okay, very good. Tracy is
Yes.
very good. And Ernie's an aye. So motion passes unanimous. 1, 2. So we have a quorum. So 4-0 and 1 person missing. All right, that's it. I think were there other comments? I think Ryan was the only one. Do you have any general questions about this would be the visitor portion under new business as well?
No new business.
Okay, I
Thank you.
think that's it. Lanny, we did have one. Sorry.
What were you saying?
I was going to see, you said there was one other thing on the agenda for next month already?
No, not yet.
Or do we have anyone?
You and I talked about the homeless topic, and and so,
Okay.
but I haven't made any.
And we never did hear back.
Lanny, did we ever hear back from the In and Out folks?
No,
No?
no. Thanks. I didn't hear. Yeah, no, we have not heard back at
Okay.
all, and I don't anticipate we
Apparently
will.
here. And they did not answer my emails either.
Okay.
Never got any answer back to any of my emails.
Yeah, we had
Okay.
planning staff help with us as well, and they were able to reach them.
Wow.
They were or not?
We're not.
Okay. All right. Well, then I guess, is there any other new business, old business to finish? All right, then let me check my other, I guess then with that, we are all done unless anybody has any final comments. All right. Thank you. We're adjourned then, officially done. Excellent. Rick, thanks for everything. Appreciate the update. Thanks for the notes, Tracy. Jerry, be careful. It's very slippery out there. Careful driving home, everybody. Everybody, careful driving home.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you had
And,
your electricity on,
yeah.
so you can have your heat
Travis,
going.
Yeah, we're close enough to a hub or whatever that our power outages never
Yeah,
last that
go
long,
back.
which is nice.
Okay, good.
It was getting a little chilly though.
I bet. Yeah, this
Big
is
bad
not the
Jenny
night
Whitford.
to lose electricity.
Yep. And David, Brendan, thank you for joining and presenting today.
Thank you for having us.
Our pleasure.
You bet.